Hi students, welcome to section 9 of chapter relations and functions. In the last section, we discussed composition of functions. What is composition of function? How to use composition function for finding inverse of a function, etc. So in this section, we will do more problems from the topic composition of functions. So first I will revise the topic. After that we can do the problems. So if f is a function from a to b and g is a function from b to c, then always there exists a function g of f from a to c defined as g of f of x is equal to g of f of x. This is first point. Now second point is this one. If f is a function from a to b is bijective, then there exists a function g from b to a such that g of f equal to identity function in a. That means g of f of x equal to x and f of g equal to identity function in b. That means f of g of x equal to x or f of g of y equal to y will get. This is second point. Now third point, f of f inverse of x will be always equal to x. That means f of f inverse of x will be x and f inverse of f of x equal to x. That is f inverse of f of x is equal to x. Because we know that if g is inverse of f of g of x equal to x or f of g of y equal to y or g of f of x equal to x, g of f of y equal to y, same element we will get. So since f inverse means inverse of the function, f of f inverse of x will be always equal to x. Same way f inverse of f of x will be always equal to x. Now fourth one, if f of f of x equal to x, then what is f inverse? If f of x equal to x, then f inverse will be equal to f. That means f inverse of y will be equal to f of y or f inverse of x equal to f of x. Okay. Now point 5, if f from a to b is a function, if there exists a function g from b to a such that g of f of x equal to x and f of g of y equal to y, then g is said to be inverse of f. That is f inverse equal to g or f inverse of y equal to g of y, f inverse of x equal to g of x. So these 5 points you have to remember before starting the questions. Okay. Now consider first question. If f from R to R be given by f of x equal to 3 minus x cube raised to 1 by 3, then find f of x. F of x you have to find. So by definition, f of x means f of x. Right? F of g of x means f of g of x. Same way, f of x means f of x. So this will be equal to f of, what is the value of f of x? That is 3 minus x cube raised to 1 by 3. Now we have to find f of this value. For that you have to use definition f of x. In place of x we have to substitute 3 minus x cube raised to 1 by 3. So what we will get? 3 minus, right hand side also you have to substitute 3 minus x cube raised to 1 by 3 in place of x. So 3 minus x means 3 minus x cube raised to 1 by 3. Then whole cube is there, x cube. Then whole raised to this 1 by 3. Now this one you have to simplify. Here you can use the formula a raised to m whole raised to n. A raised to m whole raised to n is a raised to m into n. So this 3 and 3 get cancelled. Remaining terms will be 3 minus x cube whole raised to 1 by 3. Now expand the bracket. So what we will get? If you expand the bracket, we will get x cube raised to 1 by 3. X cube raised to 1 by 3 equal to x. That means f of x equal to x we are getting. F of x equal to x. If f of x equal to x means f of f is an identity function. If f of g of x x, g of f of x x, then f inverse equal to g. So what is f inverse? F inverse equal to f itself. Otherwise, f inverse of x will be equal to f of x. And what is f of x? That is 3 minus x cube raised to 1 by 3. Okay. Now consider second question. If the function f of x equal to root of 2x minus 3 is invertible, then find f inverse. Hence prove that f of f inverse of x equal to x. F of f inverse of x will be always x. Now here it is given that function is invertible. That means we need not verify whether it is invertible or not. Just we want to find f inverse. After that you have to show that f of f inverse x equal to x. Now how we can find f inverse of x? For that, let f of x equal to y. F of x equal to y, then x equal to f inverse of y. That formula you have to use. So f of x means root of 2x minus 3 equal to y. We have to express y in terms of x in terms of y. So squaring both sides will get 2x minus 3 equal to y square. 2x equal to y square plus 3 will get. So what is x? Y square plus 3 by 2. F of x equal to y, then x equal to f inverse of y. So f inverse of y equal to x. That is y square plus 3 by 2. F inverse of y equal to y square plus 3 by 2. So f inverse of x will be x square plus 3 by 2. In place of y, we can take any variable. Okay, after getting the answer. F inverse of z will be z square plus 3 by 2. So f inverse y equal to y square plus 3 by 2. Now we want to show that f of f inverse x equal to x. So f of f inverse of x. Just use the definition f of g of x. So you will get f of f inverse of x. So first you have to substitute the value of f inverse of x. And what is f inverse of x? F inverse of y equal to y square plus 3 by 2. So f inverse of x will be x square plus 3 by 2. So you will get f of x square plus 3 by 2. Now we want to find f of x square plus 3 by 2. That means f of x formula to use. In place of x, you have to substitute x square plus 3 by 2. So what you will get? That is root of right hand side also. In place of x, you have to substitute x square plus 3 by 2. So we will get 2 into x. X means x square plus 3 by 2. Right? Minus 3. Minus 3. So we can cancel 2. Remaining terms will be root of x square plus 3 minus 3. So 3 get cancelled. We will get root of x square. That is equal to x. So f of f inverse of x equal to x. Okay. Now third question. Find f inverse if f of x equal to 5x plus 8. This is a 1 mark question. Sometimes you can expect this type of question also. Here just you have to find f inverse. You need not verify whether it is invertible or not. Just you have to find f inverse. For that, just take f of x equal to y. Then x equal to f inverse of y. So 5x plus 8 equal to y. So what is the value of x? Y minus 8 by 5. So f of x equal to y, then x equal to f inverse of y. F inverse of y will be y minus 8 by 5. Okay. So f inverse of 1, f inverse of 2, any value you can find. F inverse of x will be x minus 8 by 5. This x we need not compare with this value. This is, we can take any variable in place of y, any variable. So f inverse x equal to x minus 8 by 5. Okay. Now fourth question. Let f from R to R be the signum function defined as f of x equal to 1 if x is more than 0, f of x equal to 0 if x equal to 0, f of x equal to minus 1 if x is less than 0. This is definition of signum function. And g from R to R defined as g of x equal to greatest integer less than or equal to x. Then find the value of f of g and g of f in 0 to 1. That means you have to find f of g of x and g of f of x where x belongs to open interval 0 to 1. So we can find the value like this. So f of g of x where x belongs to 0 to 1. That means 0 less than x less than 1. X is more than 0, but that should be less than 1. So by definition, this is equal to f of g of x. That is f of, what is g of x? Greatest integer of x. What is the value of greatest integer of x if x belongs to 0 to 1? That means you have to find the value of 0.5, 0.8, 0.9. Such values you have to find. All these values will be equal to 0. Greatest integer less than or equal to this number. So this is equal to 0, this will be equal to 0. So if you take any value between 0 to 1, greatest integer of that value will be always 0. So this will be equal to f of 0. Now we want to find the value of f of 0. For that, you have to use this definition. F of x will be 1 when x is more than 0. F of x 0 when x equal to 0. So here in place of x we have 0. So when x equal to 0, f of 0 will be 0. So value equal to 0. So f of g of x equal to 0 you are getting. Now we want to find g of f of x where x belongs to open interval 0 to 1. So g of f of x. So by definition this is equal to g of f of x. That is g of, what is f of x? X belongs to 0 less than x less than 1. That means x is more than 0. When x is more than 0, f of x will be always 1. So this will be equal to g of 1. G of 1 means greatest integer of 1. What is greatest integer of 1? That is equal to 1 itself. So g of f of x equal to 1 we are getting. F of g of x equal to 0. Okay. Now, next question. Consider f from n to n, g from n to n, and h from n to r. We have three functions defined as f of x 2x, g of y equal to 3y plus 4, and h of z equal to sin z. Sin z. Then find the value of h of g of f and h of g of f. How we can find the value? H of g of f means you have to find the value of h of g of f of x. For finding this value, you have to compare with f of g of x. Okay, now how we can find f of g of x? By definition, this is equal to f of g of x. This one you have to compare with this formula. So in place of f, we have h. In place of g, we have g of f. So right hand side means f of g of x. So this will be equal to f of means this will be h of g of x means g of f of x. Okay. Now this bracket first you have to simplify. Here you have to use the formula g of f of x. direct formula is there. So it is equal to h of g of f of x. Now we can find this value. So it's equal to h of g of, what is f of x? F of x equal to 2x. Now we want to find g of 2x. G of, that means you have to use second definition. G of y equal to 3y plus 4. So in place of y, we have to substitute 2x. So what we will get? We will get h of g of 2x means 3 into 2x plus 4. Right? So 3 into 2x plus 4 you will get. This will be equal to h of 6x plus 4. Now we want to find h of 6x plus 4. H of means you have to use third definition. H of z equal to sin z. So in place of z you have to substitute 6x plus 4. So this will be equal to sin z means 6x plus 4. Okay. Now we want to find h of g of f. Same way we can find h of g of f means you have to find h of g of f of x. This one also you can compare with this formula. In place of f we have h of g. In place of g we have f. So f of g of x means this is equal to h of g of f of x. Right. So this is like f of g of x. F of g of x. F means h, g means g. So this is equal to h of g of f of x. H of g of f of x. Actually these two are same answer will get. Right. So this answer will be equal to sin 6x plus 4. So here we are getting one result, that is h of g of f is equal to h of g of f. This result you have to note down. Okay. Consider another question. It's one conceptual question, so you have to watch video very carefully. Okay. That f from x to y and g from y to z are two invertible functions, then g of f is also invertible with g of f whole inverse equal to f inverse or g inverse. That means you have to show that g of f is invertible and its inverse. That means g of f whole inverse equal to f inverse or g inverse. This is one formula, this one you have to by heart. Now by composition method, how we are proving that f is invertible and f inverse equal to g? For that you have to show that g of f of x equal to x and f of g of y equal to y. Right. The same method you have to use here also. For this question you have to compare with this formula. So in place of f we have g of f. Right. And in place of g we have f inverse or g inverse. Because we want to show that g of f inverse equal to f inverse or g inverse. So like that you have to compare. F means g of f, g means f inverse or g inverse. So first we have to show that g of f of x equal to x means here I have to show that f inverse of g inverse of g of f of x equal to x. So you have to use this definition of composition. This is like g of f of x. So by definition this is equal to g of means f inverse of g inverse of g of f of x. So first we can simplify the bracket. Definition of composition you can use directly. So this is equal to f inverse of g inverse of g of f of x. It's just like f of g of x. In place of x we have this term. So again the same definition is equal to f inverse of g inverse of g of f of x. Right. Now what about G inverse of G of f of x? G inverse of G of x equal to x. G inverse of G of y equal to y. So G inverse of G of f of x will be f of x. So we'll get f inverse of f of x. Now f inverse f of x equal to x. Okay. So we got f inverse or G inverse of G of f of x equal to x. Now you have to find its reverse. That means you have to show that G of f inverse of G inverse of y equal to y. Okay. Same definition, G of f of y or f of G of y. That formula is equal to G of f inverse of G inverse of y. So first we can simplify the bracket. So this will be equal to f inverse of G inverse of y. Right. Now it's just like G of f of x. In place of x we have this term. So by using same composition definition, we will get G of f inverse of G inverse of y will get. Right. Now f of f inverse of x, x, f of f inverse of y, y. So this is equal to G of G inverse of y will get. Now what about G of G inverse of y? G of G inverse of y equal to y. So we proved that G of f inverse of G inverse of y equal to y. That means by definition of composition, G of f whole inverse equal to f inverse of G inverse. Now we can do one more question. Let f from R to R defined as f of x equal to x plus 5 and g from R to R defined as g of x equal to 4x minus 9. Find g of f whole inverse. In order to find g of f whole inverse, we can use two methods. One is direct method, finding inverse of function, or by using that formula. What is formula? G of f whole inverse is equal to f inverse of g inverse. Anyway, we can use both methods. First, method 1. How we can find inverse of function? In order to find inverse of x, you have to take f of x equal to y. Then you have to find value of x. Value of x will be equal to f inverse of y. This formula we can use. That means in order to find inverse of g of f, first we will take g of f of x is equal to y. After that we will find the value of x. X will be equal to g of f or inverse of y. Right. This formula, f of x equal to y, then x equal to f inverse of y. G of x equal to y, then x equal to g inverse of y. G of f of x equal to y, then x equal to g of f inverse of y. This one you have to note down. This formula you can use first. So, first you have to find g of f. So, g of f first you have to find. So, g of f of x means that is g of f of x. Right. That is g of, what is f of x? F of x equal to 2x plus 5. Now, g of 2x plus 5 you have to find by using this formula. So, it will be equal to 4 into 2x plus 5 minus 9. So, this is 8x plus 20 minus 9. Answer is 8x plus 11. So, g of f of x we are getting 8x plus 11. Now we want to find inverse of this function. For that, take g of f of x is equal to y. That means 8x plus 11 equal to y. So what is the value of x? X equal to y minus 11 by 8. G of f of x equal to y, then x equal to g of f inverse of y. So value of x is g of f inverse of y equal to x, that is equal to y minus 11 by 8. Now we can use second method, that means this formula. For that, you have to find f inverse and g inverse first. So first you have to find f inverse. So take f of x equal to y. So 2x plus 5 equal to y. What is the value of x? Y minus 5 by 2. So f inverse f of x equal to y, then x equal to f inverse of y. F inverse of y equal to x, that is mean it's equal to y minus y by 2. And now we have to find g inverse of x or g inverse of y. For that, take g of x equal to y. G of x means 4x minus 9 equal to y. So what is the value of x? Y plus 9 by 4. G of x equal to y, then x equal to g inverse of y. So g inverse of y equal to x and its value equal to y plus 9 by 4. Now g of f whole inverse equal to f inverse or g inverse. So g of f whole inverse of x equal to f inverse or g inverse of x. So f inverse of g inverse of x we have to find. So by definition of composite function is equal to f inverse of g inverse of x. That is f inverse of, what is g inverse of x? G inverse of y equal to y plus 9 by 4. So g inverse of x will be x plus 9 by 4. Now we want to find f inverse of x plus 9 by 4. For that f inverse of x you have to find. So f inverse of y equal to y minus y by 2. So f inverse of x equal to x minus y by 2. In place of y you have to substitute this value. So we will get x plus 9 by 4 minus 5 by 2. Find LCM. So it's equal to x plus 9 minus 20 by 4 into 2. We get 8. So the answer is x minus 11 by 8 will get. So f inverse of g inverse of x is equal to x minus 11 by 8. That is g of f whole inverse of x. These two answers are same, right? G of f inverse of y equal to y minus 11 by 8. So g of f inverse of x will be x minus 11 by 8. So any one of these two methods we can use for examination. No problem. So we can conclude this section.